Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Lilla, I'm from Hungary, and I live in Szeged.
So you've been learning Indonesian, right? For how long have you been learning Indonesian?
Almost 9 years. Today is the 8th of January, and tomorrow will be my anniversary.
That's a long time, wow. And what inspired you to start learning Indonesian?
I started learning Indonesian in 2016. I was 13 when I saw a documentary about an Indonesian burn survivor, and her braveness and soul strongness inspired me really much that she became my role model, and I started learning her mother tongue as an honor to her. And later I fell in love with the culture and the language of Indonesia, and this is how my fan life started blooming.
That's such an inspiring story. And how did you start learning Indonesian?
I never had a teacher from Indonesian, so 100% self-taught until this day. And I'm really proud of it, to be honest. And there were a lot of tools and language learner programs, platforms that helped me through this much time. For example, the first platform I used was Glospa Translator. And then later there were other language learner platforms. For example, the one with the B symbol and the other one with the green owl symbol.
And have you ever been to Indonesia? If yes, where did you go? What was your experience like?
I have never been to Indonesia, but it is my dream to one day go to Indonesia and discover the beauty of Bali, Jawa, and one of my favorite places is Raja Ampat. One song features it as the dreamland, Raja Ampat, the dreamland. And the little islands in Raja Ampat, it really looks like the Hallelujah Mountains from Avatar.
Do you have Indonesian friends or connections that help you to practice the language?
I have many Indonesian friends. I have in total 30 Indonesian friends, including Mega, and they always help me whenever I have a question or whenever I want to know something about Indonesia, not just about the language, but about the culture, about its music culture, and I'm really grateful for them.
Wow, that must be very motivating for you to, connect with Indonesian friends. And have you tried Indonesian food? If so, what are your favorite dishes?
I have tried Indonesian fried rice, which is named nasi goreng, and I also tried bami goreng, which is pasta with many vegetables and curry. But my favorite one is satay, which has beef meat in a stick, and they usually eat it with peanut sauce, which in my opinion is really tasty. So try it guys.
Wow, I love satay with peanut sauce as well. I think that's one of my favorites. Is there any particular island, region, or culture that you find fascinating, and why?
So one of the cultures in Indonesia that I found really fascinating is the Maluku Islands and Halmahera specifically. My first interest in Halmahera started when, after my favorite documentary that I mentioned in the beginning, with my role model. After that documentary, I was like wondering, what is Maluku Island? What is Halmahera? I want to know more and more about it. And later I started searching more about it, and I found out that it has really beautiful dances, like the Tida Tida and the Chakalala dance. One of them features how Maharian man protects her family from the enemy, and the other one features the beautiful dance movements of the Halmaherian woman and the beauty of them.
Do you know any Indonesian local languages or dialects aside from Bahasa Indonesia?
I know Bahasa Tobalo because of my role model, but also I'm really interested in it as well. But I don't know much, I can only introduce myself. Ahi Romangao Lilla, Ngohi Togo Gerao Segedoka. My name is Lilla and I stay in Szeged. Dan Tabuhanua Tobalo Marahai. I will never forget beautiful Tobalo. This one is from a song that I really love.
And have you learned any traditional Indonesian songs or music?
I have learned many. This is one of my favorite things to do, to learn many different kinds of music, different genres of music. So one of the songs I know is Soleram, 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 anak yang manis. This song is from the Riau Islands, and this song helps to soothe a baby. The other one I know is Jadi jangyar sang singi sang sang jangyar This is a Balinesian song called Jangger, and I know. Ayo mama, mama jangan marah beta. Dia cuma cium beta. Ayo mama, mama jangan marah beta. Lah orang muda punya biasa. This song is from Ambon, and it features a love story of two, I guess, teenage person who grew up in village area. And I know. Borero tu soningai mafira. Kiego lobo sabada masingsara. Ngada ifala tu sone bato. Biar to soninga borero. This song from Halmahera, and it features a sad love story where the man has to leave behind her lover and go far away from where he met her. And I know. Posi to bohoko, bukan posi baik oleh madodera, bukan Halmahera. This song is from Tuvalu, and it features a sad moment where they have to leave behind the place where they lived.
That's amazing. Fellow Indonesian friends, especially the ones who are currently living abroad, how many of these songs that you know or can sing? Come on, improve your Indonesian knowledge. Improve my Indonesian knowledge. What has been the most challenging part of learning Indonesian?
This is a really great question, but one of the challenging parts is Bahasa Gaul, which is slangish Indonesian. For me, for some reason, it is harder. Maybe because I grew up teaching myself more to the formal and non-formal Indonesian, because these two allows me to connect with people in my age, younger than me, and people who are older than me. So I never had a need to learn Bahasa Gaul, and if somebody tries to teach me Bahasa Gaul, I always fail to memorize it.
So, are there specific moments or achievements in your learning journey that you are particularly proud of?
There are a lot of moments. For example, when I can talk to Indonesians bravely, and I can talk about myself, about my hobbies, about my everyday life, about what and who inspires me. It is really good that now I can not just do it in English, Hungarian, I can also do it in Indonesian. And those moments I feel that my hard work finally paid off. And another moment that makes me prouder. Nowadays, I have more and more opportunity to go to Indonesian festivals where I can get to know a lot of interesting people, and it really makes me happy. And one time there was a game session in which we had to answer questions about Indonesia. And I was given one question, and halfly I answered it in English and halfly Indonesian. And the Indonesian ambassadors sit in the row in front of me. And when they heard that I can speak Bahasa Indonesia, they turned around and they were really proud of me. Their expression said it all. And in another festival, one of them had a speech. And when he noticed me standing there in one of the row, he told me that he's really proud of me. He's really proud of how much it means to me to learn about the culture, and that I should keep going and never give up. And this meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I'm proud of you as well. That's amazing. Like, it's not common, guys, for a Hungarian to speak Indonesian this fluently. How do you get to use Indonesian in your daily life? Like, how frequent?
As I mentioned earlier, I have 30 Indonesian friends. And sometimes when I speak Indonesian, for a lot of times, it affects my other languages. For example, when after a lot of Indonesian talking, I switch to English. Sometimes one or two Indonesian words come into the English speaking of me. I'm really happy that I can improve my Indonesian this way, and I will continue on.
I think it's fascinating, and then it's also normal for us polyglot. We speak many different languages, and sometimes there are certain expressions it feels better to express it in Indonesian, certain expression in English, and the other expression in Hungarian. It's common, I think. Do you feel comfortable having conversation in Indonesian, or are there still areas where you will still need to improve?
Now I feel much more confident than, for example, 3 or 4 years ago. So I started connecting with Indonesians in 2021. Until it, I just prepared myself that, yeah, one day I will connect with Indonesians, and until that I want to have good speaking. And when I first talked to Indonesians, it was pretty hard because they speak very fast, or maybe it was just fast for me. This was one of the hardships in this. But with time I get more and more comfortable talking to them, and we will actually record an Indonesian version of this Q&A, and with more and more practicing, I feel more comfortable answering these questions in Indonesian as well.
Yeah, so for you who are curious, our Q&A in Indonesian session, you can click it here. What have you learned about Indonesian culture through the language?
It is really colorful. So the Indonesian language I learned, not just one, but there are so many. So the Indonesian language that I learned connects every Indonesians from every island. But every island and sometimes some cities have their own local languages from which I don't know much. This is one of the things which is really fascinating to me, that there are so many cultures, there are so many languages, and still it is one country. It is so beautiful. And the other thing that I noticed, that how much it means to the people of Indonesia when an outsider like me can not just only speak the language, but also can sing different genres of Indonesian music. And I always like the showing of my skills to receive some beautiful smiles in return.
I think Indonesian people are really happy and appreciative when there are foreigners take the time to learn the language, the culture. We are really happy about it. It's also the same for Hungarian people, actually. I notice when I learn, I can speak Hungarian, I can pronounce words in Hungarian. They are really appreciative as well. Do you have any plans to continue improving your Indonesian, like taking exams?
So, to be honest, yeah, I have many plans to improve myself. First, I want to go back to online platforms to learn Indonesian again, because I stopped learning from online platforms since 1 or 2 years. But because I'm not that fluent yet, I need to come back and focus on learning that again. And also, the Indonesian embassy said that I have an opportunity to be able to have my certificate from Bahasa Indonesia, but only in the basic level A1 and A2. And the B1 will finally arrive. I will do that one as well. These are my plans for the future, and stay tuned.
I think you should skip the A1 and A2. Just jump to the C1 level or C2. You will know why I say this in this Q&A in Indonesian session. You will notice and you will agree with me. Comment in the comment section below. Is there something specific you hope to achieve with these Indonesian language skills for you in the future? For example, traveling or working in Indonesia or deepening cultural connection?
So first, I want to travel to Indonesia as a tourist. But if I like it there and if I will get to know it better, I will maybe try to go there with Dharma Siswa scholarship, or maybe I will go there with Dharma Siswa scholarship like right away. I haven't decided yet, but I want to go to Indonesia somehow. And back in the day, it was my dream as well to be a volunteer there. So I hope I can achieve these dreams of mine. And I also want to continue being friends with more and more and more Indonesians. So hit me up if you are interested.
What advice would you give to someone who is just starting to learn Indonesian?
If it's your first language that you learn alone, like in my case, I would advise you to just take it slow. Don't want too much at too little time. If you have a word that you are really interested in knowing about in the first place, you should translate that first. I think this generation is in a better luck that we have Google Translate, not because of the translation, but more likely because of the pronunciation. So like I could perfect my pronunciation there by listening to those words I was curious about. Music can help a lot. The music has like different kind of Indonesian language as well that I'm really interested in learning about. And also Indonesian poems can make you more interested. If you are a better speaker, you should try to read the book in Indonesian if you like. So there are a lot of tips that can be helpful and interesting. Also, there are a lot of YouTube videos that can keep you motivated. Never give up and be focused.
And now let's talk about us. Do you remember when and how we first connected?
We connected through a Facebook group, which is meant to help Indonesians and Hungarians to connect and know about the upcoming Indonesian festivals organized by the Indonesian Embassy in Budapest. And also in this group you can get to know interesting facts and things about Indonesia. 1 year ago, actually, Mega was looking for a language exchange partner there for Hungarian language. And I was looking for Indonesian language exchange partner as well for my studies. And we started connecting, we started having video call lessons, and I not just got to know more about the language, but also the culture, and I could get good advices from Maga, from everyday life situations. It was just a really great experience.
Yeah, it was a great experience to be taught by Lilla as well. Like I learned Hungarian, and because of that, I started to be brave enough to speak in Hungarian for daily conversations in the supermarket or when I went to the government offices. For that, I was just learning the grammar, but it was very difficult for me to be brave enough to speak in Hungarian. So if you're interested or curious to know how my Hungarian sounds like, stay tuned, comment in the comment section below, let me know.